Hey there, good morning. Busan massage. Looks suspicious. Maybe not just a massage. Anyways, so I am now here in Busan, the second largest city of South Korea. It was a very interesting night and morning with a few challenges along the way. So my hotel is right down there, and it is currently 9:30 in the morning. I can't check in until 12 noon, so I have 2.5 hours. There is a lounge there I can hang out in a little later if I want, but for now, want to just wander around and check out this city. Looks very nice so far. So it is now the next day, November 2nd, 2025, currently 77 degrees Fahrenheit, that is 25 degrees Celsius. Perfectly sunny, warm, but not hot and humid. So that was what I was going for. So there were actually a bunch of clouds in the sky when I was at the airport, and that was only like 30 minutes ago or something, and they've all just skedaddled all of a sudden. But anyways, great weather. So I need to go back to last night, and I will tell the story of the whole past 12 hours or so as I walk along here and show a bit of the city in the process. So I hadn't booked accommodation yet for here in Busan when I arrived in Bangkok, and so as I think that I mentioned, I booked my onward flight out of South Korea while standing in the check-in line yesterday in Bangkok, and it turned out that I did need that. They asked at the check-in counter, and then once I got all through security and everything, then I needed to book my accommodation. So I took a seat there at that restaurant where I got the Jägermeister and got online and was searching for restaurants. So by this time it was getting close to 10 o'clock by the time I had gotten around to looking for accommodation. My flight was at 10:55 p.m. last night, and so I kind of procrastinated a little bit getting around to doing the online booking, and so maybe it was like 9:45. This is relevant, which is why I'm mentioning it. So 9:45-ish I start looking for accommodation, checking various options and trying to decide how many nights. So what I wanted to do was book last night and then a few more nights, so that when I arrived early in the morning, then there would be a room available for me to check into right away. So I plug in the dates last night and 3 or 4 more nights, and so finally I decide on a hotel, and I go to book it, and then the page mysteriously goes back to the main booking.com page. And this is something that had never happened before. I tried it a couple times and it kept doing the same thing. So I look at the time and it is like 10:02, and I realize, oh, I think I understand what's going on here. 10:02 p.m. There is a 2-hour time difference between Thailand and South Korea, which puts it at 12:02, 2 minutes past midnight. So I think that what was going on is that I couldn't book it for that night because it had flipped over into the next day here in South Korea, and so the website won't let you book a night when it's the next day already. And so I realized, oh dang, because in the comments, the reviews of the hotel, it was saying you couldn't check in until like 6 p.m. And that is certainly not ideal, to say the least, especially after an overnight flight. And so I'm not sure what to do, because this is going to be the case with anywhere I try to book. So then I realize, oh man, it's actually getting close to boarding time. I need to get going and get to the gate. And so I decide I'm going to hold off on this, and maybe there's a hotel in the airport here, and I can just book something and get some sleep for the day at the airport, and then book something else more in the center of the city later. So I decided to just put that off. So I get to the gate, and in the meantime it had started raining, like pouring down, like really freaking hard rain. Actually, when I was sitting there at the bar and lounge there, then I heard this loud sound and wasn't sure what it was, and then looked behind me at the window, and water just streaming down the windows of the airport. And so I'm thinking, wow, this is like really intense, not just a normal rain. This could delay things. And sure enough, get to the gate and it's delayed. So I forget how much it got delayed, but 45 minutes to an hour, something like that. Wow, it is really quiet here. What day of the week is it? I think it's Sunday. Finally we board and take off. Luckily, there's nobody in the middle seat. There was a woman there in the window seat. And so I'm actually able to get a fair amount of sleep. I was so exhausted, and so despite the fact that I normally can't really sleep on planes, I managed to crash out and get some sleep, which is the only reason why I'm actually able to talk at all right now, because otherwise I would have just been absolutely destroyed by this morning. So I managed to get some sleep, and we land a bit late. And then going through, not customs, but the first one, where you just show your passport and everything, was super smooth. No questions. He just puts the sticker in there. So no visa, no e-visa or anything. I just had to fill out an arrival card. And so that goes nice and smooth. And then I get to the customs immigration. They pull me aside to search my stuff and put my bags through an x-ray machine. Now, fortunately, they didn't do a full search, but I had to do another like x-ray thing myself, and my bags go through an x-ray machine. Let's show a bit more of the street scene, getting slightly more happening here. And so luckily they didn't decide to pull everything apart. Looks like this might be kind of a pedestrian zone. Yeah, let's walk down there. So I get through there. Now I need cash. So I go to the currency exchange desk first, because I have a bunch of Indian rupees. Like 6,500 Indian rupees left over, which is like $75. Okay, let's just go for it. And so I go up to the currency exchange, but they don't accept Indian rupees, so forget that. So then I go to the ATM and try to use the ATM to withdraw some local Korean won, and the ATM doesn't have English. I'm looking all over it for a button to push to change to English, and I can't find it. That's like a first, that an ATM hasn't had English as an option. And so I just cancel that out, and this is why I have emergency cash. Whoa, we got some interesting looking fish, zebra fish. like flounders or something. Quite a selection. Some big guys here. So I have $500 US in $100 bills as emergency backup. So I decided just go to the currency exchange desk and change $100. And so I get the local one. Pretty good exchange rate, actually. I only lost about $5 out of the $100, so that's not bad. I'm guessing this is a happening scene at some point, but obviously not on a Sunday morning. Is this the fish market? So, I am now all set to leave the airport. I don't want to deal with the metro. I just want a taxi to get me straight to my place and not have to deal with the metro. Although, as it turned out, that might have been a somewhat simpler solution. So anyways, I go out to the taxi stand. There's the curb and taxis waiting. And then as I'm going to walk there, a guy walks up to me. And this is always just an absolute headache situation of, okay, now is this guy legit? Why is he walking up to me? And so I tell him the name of my hotel, and he says 50,000 won. And that is about 30 something dollars. And that sounds high considering the price of the rooms. My hotel is about $35 per night, and they're even cheaper rooms. So it's kind of not feeling right. I ask him meter, and then he says go to the standard taxi stand right next to where we're standing there. And I say, okay, good, because that seems more legit. Easy Bierhof. So I go there, catch the next taxi, and sure enough, he's going to use the meter. So I tell him the name of the hotel, and then he plugs it into his map on his car, and we start going, and then I'm looking at the map, and I realize, oh, that does not look right. It is showing a location that is way west of the airport in the opposite direction of central Busan. It's like a 25-minute drive out. And so now I'm confused as to whether I screwed up in my booking. But location was important, and I was pretty sure that I'd booked something relatively central. And so I start looking on my phone and look at the map on booking.com to confirm the general area of the city where I booked this place. And sure enough, it is more centrally located. And so where he's about to take me is way, way wrong. And it's going to be like a time-consuming, costly wrong. So I get his attention and ask him to pull over so we can sort this out. And he pulls over, and so it takes some time to figure it out where the location of the hotel is, but finally he gets the right one, and so we head there, and it's much, much closer. Okay, my battery is about to die. Yeah, 1%. Okay, 1 second. Looks like a hardware store. I am so loving the weather. It just feels so pleasant. Warmish, but just a twinge of coolness and not that crazy, clinging, humid heat. So the guy pulls up to the hotel, and there's a sign with the right name of the hotel. Looks like this is in fact the place, and the price ends up being $13,500. So the other guy had been saying $50,000. It ends up being $13,500, and that is $9.50. And that is including the time spent trying to figure out the right place and everything. So very, very reasonable there. South Korea is looking to be really quite inexpensive. Oh, I forgot to mention that while I was standing in the line for the passport check, then I'm thinking I might need to show proof of accommodation, so let's get that done now. And so I booked 3 nights starting tonight, 3 nights at this hotel. And so then the question is, will there be the option of paying for last night so that I can check in right away? And since last night it had shown availability, I'm thinking, well, there should be some rooms available. But I get in there, and now fortunately the reception guy speaks pretty good English. The taxi driver had spoken a little bit, not very much. The other taxi driver that was trying to scam me or whatever seemed to speak quite good English. So I guess it's going to be a bit hit or miss. But anyways, the guy at the reception desk says that normal check-in time is in fact 6 p.m. and there are no rooms available now. I guess they full up last night. But what I can do is check in at 12 o'clock noon, as I think I mentioned, and pay an extra charge, which is going to be $28. So almost the full price of the hotel to check in 6 hours early, but better than waiting until 6 p.m. having to walk around and everything. So then I left my big backpack there at the reception. So there you go. That is all caught up. Now I'm getting hungry, but whatever they eat for breakfast in South Korea is probably not what I'm gonna want to eat. Gamjeon Market, and somebody walking in there. Okay, I was just gonna say that instead what I want to do is go into a convenience store or whatever and get some, you know, like hard-boiled eggs and maybe some sweets, something like that. So let's give this market a try. So I'm not sure if these are two separate things, but Buguk Mart, and looks like this is going to do the trick. We got fruit. Okay, what am I going to be able to find here? I'm sure there will be something. Let's look for some hard-boiled eggs. All right, things are working out. I got a lot of stuff. I went a little crazy. Got $25 worth of groceries, but I got a lot for 25 bucks. I was able to pay with my credit card. But the one thing that I couldn't find was hard-boiled eggs. I found eggs. I found hard-boiled quail eggs, but not hard-boiled regular eggs. So I'm hoping to come across a convenience store. I wonder if they have 7-Eleven in South Korea, or you know, Lawton, those Japanese ones. Anyways, there's got to be some kind of equivalent, and those places tend to have the hard-boiled eggs that are all ready to go. So going to head back in the direction of my hotel and go hang in the lounge, show you what I got here, and munch on breakfast. And at that point it's going to be getting fairly close to 12 noon. Okay, let's wander down here. I guess we got some Korean dishes here. So one of my favorite Korean dishes is bibimbap. So I'll definitely go for that. I could be wrong, maybe that's some other kind of food. Takeout place, it looks like. But looking pretty interesting. Overall, based on my very limited experience so far with the Korean food, I can't put it up there, you know, in my favorite food category. But as I said, bibimbap is quite good. It's like I forget if it's a soup or just a mix of stuff, but like beef, and then it's a mix of bunch of different things that is quite tasty. I did the Korean barbecue in Jeju Island, actually, in which I got like, you know, 15 different dishes or something, and that was pretty good there. But there's definitely a lot of very strange stuff that isn't so much to my liking. A lot of fish and seafood stuff. I'm not a huge seafood fan, especially when you mix in some rather bizarre, you know, flavorings. Okay, I think this must be the main street that I was on before. So yeah, shops all boarded up. Gotta be because it's Sunday. Let's see if I come across a convenience store of some sort along the way here. Otherwise, I am definitely going to have more than enough to fill me up. I definitely have several days of food here. But the eggs would really just complete the breakfast puzzle. Look at this. Better Monday coffee. Lively, fresh, nice. Hilarious, but it's closed as well. They got hot dogs, iced only, apple. That's apple juice? What is that? Some sort of a sausagey hot dog thing. And look at this. What the burger. I might have to go for this for dinner one of these nights. Yeah, decent looking burger options here. That's great to know. And it's right near my hotel, I think, is down one of these lanes right here, but there is a major street up ahead. I'll try to find a convenience store. Ooh, is that one right there? No, this is a restaurant. It's open at least, and some pretty good looking dishes there, so that's another one to keep in mind. Let's check out the pictures here. Some more. Looks like must be Korean because it said kimchi. Spicy stewed dried pollock. steamed kimchi and pork. So a whole line of restaurants here, all with very interesting looking options. And boom, we got 7-Eleven. And I think, yes, this is the lane that my hotel is down, so perfect. And so I'm now at the lounge for the hotel where I'm staying, and yes, they had the hard-boiled eggs at 7-Eleven for $1.75. So that brings the grand total to 27 bucks. So here's what I got. 2 Pocari Sweat. This is a great drink. Regular milk. Bottle of water. And then 2 pairs of socks. Wasn't actually planning on buying socks, but saw them and they look very warm and comfortable. Temperatures are going to be getting cooler. And then an assortment of different cookies. So butter. There was a little bit of English on some of the packaging. There you can see it says butter. And then some different cookies, originated from France, Sable. And then some crackers, and to go with the crackers, this is supposedly cheese. There was some English specifying that that was cheese. And then pastry, so I got 2 of these. That looks really good. So the idea being that I'm going to be here for 4 days, so I will probably just want to do, you know, this kind of stuff for breakfast, because I don't want noodle soup or spicy fish or whatever for breakfast. And then there it says custard cream. That looks quite tasty, and another one of those. But no, I didn't just get all sweets. And then lunch meat, it says, luncheon meat. I don't have high hopes for this one. I guess probably something kind of like Spam, but worth a try. And then mild. So this should be some sort of a canned fish, hopefully cooked. And then pistachios and more of the cheeses. So that is definitely going to do the trick. All right, I am totally wiped out, but really glad to be here. South Korea is looking good. It is just like so mellow out there. It feels so, you know, perfectly safe. People have been super friendly, and English spoken a little bit. When I left the supermarket there, then I said thank you, and she said thank you, have a nice day. And overall interactions have been all around good. So looking forward to seeing much more of South Korea in the coming 10 days at least is when my flight is from Seoul, capital of course of South Korea, to Hiroshima. Am I saying that right? Yes, Japan. And then we'll see, maybe decide to skip that flight and stay longer. Anyways, all right, time for me to eat and then get some sleep for the afternoon. So more coming from South Korea. See ya.